Hi, my name is Mark and I'm a kennel attendant at the Brampton Animal Shelter here in lovely Brampton, Ontario.
Hi, my name is Lauren and I'm the Education and Volunteer Coordinator for Brampton Animal Services.
Hi, my name is Nima. I work for Brampton Animal Services and I'm an Animal Control Officer.
Hello, my name is Tamara Castle. I'm the Supervisor of Animal Services and I'm also a veterinary technician.
Well, basically, we look after the animals. We're all animal lovers here. I'm sort of new to the animal world, but I've always had a love of the technical side of animals. But here at the shelter, I get a chance to interact with them every day. I'm in charge of the adoption dog area, so my first duty of every day is to take the dogs for a lovely walk. We have some nice green space outside the shelter, and the dogs love it. I try to take them on a different route every day so they don't get bored and they get that nice sort of mental stimulation.
So what I do is I organize and facilitate programs for education purposes. So I go around visiting schools and give presentations on animal safety, what the shelter does, and I also do in-house presentations. So if people wanted to come in for field trips or whatever, we can do animal shelter tours.
Basically, as an Animal Control Officer, I'm pretty much on the road. Everything from conducting bite investigations to any sort of complaint that's forwarded to us, to going to pick up dogs running at large, cats that are confined, helping injured and sick wildlife, and even domestic animals.
I mostly run the animal shelter side of the business. There's the enforcement side as well. So look after the day-to-day operations and scheduling, making sure the animals are healthy and that we're providing good customer service, make new programs to help with adoptions and special events and all sorts of different things.
It's funny, it definitely wasn't a linear journey to this job. I worked in the financial field for about 20 years. And like I said, in the back of my mind and in my heart, I always had an affection for animals. And I wondered what it would take to actually get to work with them as an everyday job. So as an old man, I went back to school. I took an animal care course, which I found fascinating. And I actually did my co-op placement here at the shelter. And then I worked at a veterinary hospital for 5 years, and I made my way back here.
Well, I'm actually a teacher, so I'm trying to integrate teaching into the jobs that I do. And I've always loved animals, and I've worked with animals in the past, so this is a really good way of combining both teaching and working with animals.
Since pretty much I was a kid, I could always remember I had an eagerness to help animals. I went to university, had a degree in biological science with a major in zoology. So initially when I started, I wanted to become a vet. One thing led to another. Ended up as an animal control officer.
It's something that I've always had a passion for since I was very young, looking after animals that are homeless and in need. And it's always what I've wanted to do. So I went to school to be a veterinary technician to help me reach that goal. I think the working environment in our facility is very good. We're very fortunate to have a really nice facility, and our council is very supportive of the animal shelter, so we have decent funding. It's not like private sectors that have to fundraise and such. We're tax-based, so that helps. And it's a hard job, especially in the summer when you get so many animals, and it's hard to find places for them all and find homes, so it can be really stressful. Sometimes the public's hard to deal with, depending on their concern, trying to make everybody happy. But overall, it's very rewarding. We don't save all the animals, but you try and focus on the ones that you do.
It's very easygoing. It's pretty much like a family-oriented place. Everyone's very approachable, easy to get along with.
Like, everyone gets along, we're all really good friends because we all have the common thing of loving animals. And so we always get along, and we always have the best interest of each animal in mind, so we always have something to talk about.
Everything from cats, dogs, to mice, guinea pigs, gerbils, to cockatoos, bears, lovebirds. We've even had an alligator here at the shelter one time.
You know, they're all beautiful in their own way. Some of them have just had a really hard life, and or usually their problem is the person that owned them, not them. A lot of times the dogs, you know, they're 7-8 months old. People got them as a puppy and didn't socialize them and train them, and then they get big, so they just get rid of them?
So this kitten was actually brought into the shelter. She had an injury to her tail. So what happens is when she came in, we actually took her to the vet and she got health care so that her tail was amputated, and it is growing back nicely, like her fur is growing back nicely and it's nice and healed, and she's actually up for adoption now. But the reason why she's so special is because she is a survivor of our Hope Fund. So our Hope Fund is by donation only, and so with those donations, we use them to do extra care for our animals. So we are city funded, but they fund our food and our shelter. They don't fund for beyond that. So without the Hope Fund, she wouldn't be able to get her tail looked after, and she would have been euthanized. So because of our donations through our Hope Fund, she's able to be saved, and now she's up for adoption, and she's actually one of the sweetest kittens you'll ever meet.
I love all of them, even the dogs that give me a hard time. When we put up a dog for adoption, they have been assessed first. So shelter dogs are never perfect. They usually are gentle souls, they have great temperaments, but sometimes they're wrapped up in big rambunctious bodies that just need a little bit of training and obedience, and probably the love and routine of a great home. So even the dogs that are unruly and want to like jump up and lick your face and don't have any manners, I love those dogs as well.
It's definitely changed my life for the better. I definitely have more pets at home than I did before I worked here. So it's affected my personal life in that I now have a cat and more dogs than I used to have. But also I really like working with the people here, and it's definitely opened my eyes to working with more animal-related jobs in the future.
But when you come to the shelter, especially me, I feel like I'm really contributing something positive. You're looking after animals, you're giving animals a second chance at life, you're meeting tons of people, every spectrum, every race, creed, color, age, coming to the shelter, and you try to sort of get that perfect fit with one of our dogs or cats. So it's very rewarding in that sense.
It's made me much wiser and opened my, I guess, I've always been open-minded, but it just makes me much more, you have to be much more open-minded when you work here, because you're dealing with different people, different types of situations, and it just builds a stronger character long-term.
Oh, it's affected my life in so many ways. It's very rewarding. I've met a lot of amazing people and networking. I've learned so much about people working here. It's just such a busy place, and it just consumes everything you do. I mean, it's not a job to us. It sort of defines us, and it's more of a passion. So it's hard to describe really. We sort of live and breathe it.